So you're gonna wanna check and make sure the wheels are good. You're gonna wanna check and make sure the forks aren't bent. And you're gonna wanna check and make sure that the subframe is straight. And you're gonna wanna check and make sure it's not a Suzuki.
That was an awesome fall.
It's 7 in the morning, 51 degrees, Saturday. I'm on my way down to Eugene, Oregon. I'm trying to be better about watching for deals on Craigslist. Last night about 9 o'clock, somebody just posted a TTR 90 for sale for $750. I'm trying to get down there this morning because I don't think it's gonna last for the rest of the day. I feel like it's too dark. There we go. I feel like this is gonna be a pretty good deal. $750, I think I could probably turn around and sell that all day for $1,000 if I wanted to. We may buy it for $750, clean it up, post it for $1,000, or we may keep it, I don't know. It looks to be in good shape, but then again, you never know until you see it in person. I've bought a lot of bikes over the years, and the thing you got to be careful of is it could be an emotional purchase. Like you could go and look at a bike and you're excited and you want it so much that you don't think clearly and you don't look at it practically. So I'm trying to be better about that. I've bought bikes that worked out to be really good buys, really good deals, and then I bought bikes that worked out to be not great deals in the end. And I've bought bikes that I ended up regretting. And here's the thing, like there's things that you should look for when you're buying a bike, red flags maybe, things that should warn you that it's not a good buy. But if you're excited, you might overlook those things. You might not notice. So a few things that I would look for. I wouldn't want to buy a bike from a pro rider. It seems like a good idea at first. You think if they're a pro, you think if they're really fast, then they must have taken care of their bike. They know how to ride, so they obviously know how to take care of their bike. They've got all these cool parts on it, but that's not always the case. A pro rider, they're going to ride the bike a lot more often, for one, but they're also gonna ride the bike a lot harder. They're gonna squeeze the life.
Turn right onto West 28th Avenue.
They're gonna squeeze the life out of the bike to get the most performance out of it and wear it out faster. So I'd be careful of that. I'm not saying I wouldn't buy a bike from a really fast rider, but I would just be careful. Ideally, I'd say you'd want to buy a bike from somebody who maybe didn't know what they were doing or even ride it that much. They didn't ride it that hard. Somebody who maybe bought it, it was their first bike, they put around, they rode on it a little bit, they never really pushed the bike to its limit. That's probably what I would look for. And the best sign that that's the case is to look at the tires, especially if it's the original tires. Even if they're look a little old, that doesn't matter. What I would look at is the tread worn roundly or is it flat? Meaning like if the bike's up straight, if the knobbies are worn just to touch the ground when the bike's up straight, that means that the rider probably wasn't very aggressive. The rider wasn't pushing it as hard. But if the knobbies on the side of the tires are worn, that means the rider probably knows what he's doing and he's really able to control the bike, lean the bike into the corners, and he's probably a more of an aggressive rider. It's always nice when you have a bike that you can get multiple riders out of.
Yeah, well, we got 3 kids, so
right.
2 of them through this.
I was gonna ask, do you know what year it is?
I can go look at the title, I guess.
Not a big deal. It looks early 2000s, but the bike's not in perfect condition. It does need a little bit of work, especially the tires. I could use new tires. The chain's pretty much rusted out. But if you put that into consideration with the price, I feel like it's a pretty good deal, especially for what
we're going to do with it. Here's my tips. Here's the things that I would look for when getting a used bike. Obviously, you're gonna check and make sure it starts. You're gonna make sure that it goes through the gears. You're gonna make sure the brakes work, all that stuff. Obviously, do that. Next, you're gonna look for leaks, oil leaks. Look around the shock, look at the fork seals, see if there's any leaks there. Not that that's a deal breaker, but you're gonna wanna take that into consideration with the price. But what I would recommend looking at is you wanna check the wheels. Wheels are expensive, actually. You're gonna wanna make sure that the wheels, that they spin true, and you're gonna wanna grab it with 2 hands and kinda shake the wheel and see if there's any play. If there's play, then that means that the hubs are going out, and that can be really expensive. Also check the forks to make sure the forks are straight, and the subframe to make sure that's straight. If a bike's in a crash and a bike goes end over end, the things that are gonna get really bent up and messed up are the forks and the subframe. So you're gonna wanna check and make sure the wheels are good, you're gonna wanna check and make sure the forks aren't bent, and you're gonna wanna check and make sure that the subframe is straight, and you're gonna wanna check and make sure it's not a Suzuki. Just kidding, guys. Just don't freak out. Just a little Suzuki humor. Well, if you guys missed the last video, then that's super rude of you, and I am really disappointed, but I will forgive you, especially because you're watching this video, but it might take some time. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so in the last video, I mentioned that we were going to sell Mason's Cobra. We did sell Mason's Cobra. We sold it for $1,600, which I kind of have a little bit of seller's remorse. I'm not always 100% confident in my decisions, but we sold it. The guy got a killer deal on it. He talked me down way too much, but whatever. We sold it for $1,600. The idea is we got the TTR, obviously. We got that for Mason as a practice bike, and we are also gonna get another SSR 70 just so that he could have that as a race bike at PIR. The idea is that over the next 3 months, we're just gonna focus on training. Okay, we're gonna basically over the next 3 months, we're taking out power out of the equation, and we're just gonna focus on fundamentals. We're getting these bikes that are easy to ride. You don't really have to worry about the power band, and we're just gonna focus on fundamentals. We're gonna focus on body position and bike control. He'll be slower at first, but he'll be, in the long run, he'll be a better rider, and he'll be better able to then worry about distributing the power of a 2-stroke because he has a better foundation of fundamentals. At least that's the idea. Yeah, you're a diehard, Mason. You won't even put your iPad down to go look at the bike.
Nice, bro! Oh, that's so cool.
Do you mean it?
Yes.
You like it?
Yeah.
Really?
How's the suspension?
The suspension's gonna be stiffer than what you're used to.
Can I start it?
Sure.
Is it loud?
No, it's not. That's the kill switch. This is the ignition.
Wait, does it have gears?
Huh?
Does it have gears?
Yeah, it has gears. I think it has 4 gears.
Dang. That's nice. Bro, did you kill it? Yeah. Okay. I think it's gonna be better than the Cobra. See? That's how easy it is.
I'm kind of excited. It's nice to have a pit bike in the family, even though it's going to be a little bit heavier and the suspension's not as good. It's just fun riding a pit bike sometimes. And do freestyle tricks on too. It's perfect. It's a perfect freestyle bike. Mason.
Yeah?
Do a neck neck.
What?
Do a neck neck. Put this leg on this side. That's called the can-can. Neck neck goes behind. Goes the other way. Other way. No, no, no. Other leg on the back side of the. No. Put this. Yeah. Yeah. Only all the way over. Oh, nice neck neck. First try.